Hello again, and welcome back to the Better Learning Leadership Conference. For those who haven't joined us yet this week for the Cambridge Botanic Garden or punting experience, I'm Bobby Seagull, TV personality and author. Today, I'll be taking you on a very special tour of King's College. Founded in 1441 by King Henry VI, this is one of the most iconic backdrops of Cambridge. The beautiful and historical building is visited by people from all over the world. We've been given exclusive access to the college, and I'll even take you to the famous King's College Chapel. Come join me. King's College Chapel is the oldest surviving building within the King's College site. In fact, Henry VI was only 19 when he laid the first stone of the College Royal of Our Lady and St. Nicholas in Cambridge on Passion Sunday, 1441. Initially, King's was to have a provost, the head of the college, and 12 impoverished students, the number of apostles. But after work had begun on the old court, Henry decided on a much grander plan. He intended King's to have 70 scholars, representing the 70 early evangelists chosen by Jesus, drawn exclusively from the King's Other Foundation at Eton. For over 400 years, King's College admitted only Etonians and claimed the privilege that the students should receive degrees without being examined. In 1455, the War of the Roses broke out when Richard, Duke of York, challenged Henry's right to the throne. For the first 11 years of unrest, building of King's College continued under Henry's patronage. But in 1461, Henry was taken prisoner, and on hearing the news, the workmen packed up and went home. A half-cut stone, it is said, lay where they left it and was eventually used as a foundation stone for the neighbouring Gibbs building in 1724. After 15 years of building, the foundations of the chapel had been laid and the walls rose irregularly from east to west. Henry VI was murdered in the Tower of London on 21st May 1471. The new king, Edward IV, passed on to the college a little of the money that Henry had intended for his chapel, but very little building was done in the 22 years between Henry's imprisonment and the death of Edward IV in 1483. Work began again in earnest through Richard III. Richard gave instructions that the building should go on with all possible dispatch and to press workmen and all possible hands, provide materials and imprison anyone who opposed or delayed. By the end of his reign, the first 6 bays of the chapel had reached full height, and the first 5 bays, roofed with oak and lead, were in use. It is left to the Tudor kings, Henry VII and Henry VIII, to achieve the final, spectacular completion of the chapel. Henry VII defeated and killed Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth in 1485. He decided to finish the chapel and sent some of the money to pay for it in the chest, which can be seen still behind us in the chapel. By 1512, the shell was finished and roofed throughout its length in timber and lead. Henry VII's executors gave a further £5,000 to pay for vaulting the chapel, and by 1515, the main structure was complete. This work, and most of the glazing of the windows, was done by the next king, Henry VIII, who was responsible for the screen and much of the chapel woodwork. When Henry VIII died in 1547, just over 100 years after the laying of the foundation stone, King's College Chapel was recognized as one of Europe's finest late medieval buildings. It truly is the work of kings. Thanks for joining me this week and letting me take you around some of the most recognizable and historical views of Cambridge. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the Better Learning Leadership Conference. There will be more Cambridge sessions on Thursday and Friday, so enjoy. Thanks again and goodbye.